Hi, I'm Jeff Gonzales, President of Trident Concepts. I'm here with the FTA to talk to you today about instructor to student ratio. So within the training world, there are what's referenced as an instructor to student ratio. And the reason behind this is a recognition that as evolutions increase in risk, the ability to manage that in a safe manner also comes into question. So you will eventually have to get to the point where you have to bring in more eyes in order to manage the safety component that is indicative of whatever that drill is, or skill, or evolution, or class that you're trying to teach. So there's not necessarily an industry standard as far as a student to instructor ratio. What I typically use is I base it off of the content of the class itself. What are we doing? And I break that down into 3 categories. There's low risk, medium risk, and high risk. If it's a high risk evolution, the first thing that we're going to do is we're probably going to run a student ratio of about 1-to-1 or 1-to-2. That means that there'll be 1 instructor for either 1 student or 2 students. And the purpose behind that is just to manage the evolution in the best manner possible. The instructors need to have an understanding of where things can go sideways so they can become anticipatory and prevent them from going sideways. Or, as they start to see them going sideways, do something to stop that. So that's where that 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 ratio really comes into play. In that case, what it means is that you have to be able to factor that into your program of instruction. If you have planned to do a high-risk evolution, it's going to take you longer to go through it when you have a 1-to-1, 1-to-2 ratio. So if you had, 8 students, you technically have to run, either 8 relays or 4 relays of 8 relays of 1 or 4 relays of 2. And that's going to be time consuming. So you have to be able to manage that from a time management point of view. The next category is medium. And medium for me is generally about a 1-to-6, 1-to-8 ratio. And those types of evolutions, while they do have risk involved, they're managed through protocol, they're managed through safety, and it makes it a little bit easier for you to go ahead and move forward with that type of a ratio. The low risk is about a 1-to-12 to 1-to-16. And in low risk, it's very controlled because what you're doing follows a very specific sequence. Those types of sequences allow the instructor to have absolute control over everything that's happening. So when you see something that goes out of sequence, you can immediately take action to prevent something from happening. So again, you have high risk, medium risk, and low risk. As an instructor, you need to be able to look at your curriculum and be able to value each of those evolutions and look at them and say, okay, this is low, medium, high. Make sure that you have the sufficient amount of time, because the other thing that you don't want to do is you don't want to rush through a high-risk evolution just because you're trying to get everything done. That is the beginning of a tragedy right then and there. And what I tell people, and this is the hard thing for a new instructor to appreciate, is that a tragedy is never the result of a single action. It is the culmination of several smaller actions that got out of control, ultimately lead into the accident, if you will. So if you look at things and if you back up, you can actually kind of see the precursor, all those or the accidents occurring because they were there. You just weren't, either you weren't paying attention to them or you didn't know to pay attention to them. So for me, being able to spot those things early on is the key. That's what allows you to manage safety at such a high level there. You also have to have good protocol in place that allows you to control everything that's happening on the firing line. Sometimes students feel that they are capable or able to do things on their own, and I'm not saying that they're not. However, for you to manage the firing line means that you have to have control of the firing line. And if a student is not following instructions or doing things on their own, here's what that means. They set an example that it is okay to do that. And then it's not just one student that's doing it, it's the students that are within visual, seeing them do it. Then it's the students that see those other students doing it. And before you know it, you've lost control of the firing line. What does that mean? That means you no longer are in control of the firearms, bottom line, which is a bad thing, because when you're not in control of the firearms, that's when bad things happen. So if you if you can't establish that level of control and have a step process that allows everything to happen in a simple to complex and safe manner, that's where you're going to really run the risk of potential safety issues. So I'm not saying that people can't be responsible enough to do these types of things, but those low risk, medium risk, and high risk are also relative to the subject matter. So at an intro level, there has to be a high degree of control because students really don't know what they're doing. Even at a basic or intermediate level, there's still a degree of control that needs to be in place. At advanced level, typically at advanced level, the curriculum is built around some higher risk subjects, so you're going to have those high risk ratios, even if they are, well, good students that have good skill level. There's still going to be that ratio there for that reason. So as the instructor, you're responsible for the safe conduct of everything within your field of view. You need to be able to manage all of that. There's tools that you can use. There's the instructor to student ratio. There's the instructions that you actually give to the students. There's the safety violations that you have there to manage all of that. All of these are part of your tool set that you have in order to ensure a safe training environment. All right, I'm Jeff Gonzales, president of Trident Concepts. Again, remember, protect the profession.